Hallo.
Hallo.
Welcome to Film Explorer
Film Explorer.
Podcast.
Fabrica, 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 Fabrica.
Hello and welcome to the Film Explorers live podcast Fabrica at Bildrausch Film Festival in Basel. We are sending directly from the beautiful piazza near Stadtkino. I am Jeannette Wolf. This year's edition started on Wednesday with its main topic, Hello Neighbor, which means exploring, living together in all its facets. For today's first talk, Film Explorer picked from the program the film Downriver, a Tiger from Victor Diago from Spain. Let me tell you a short summary of the film. It's been a while since Julia left Barcelona to start a new life in Glasgow. Now, years later, she feels stuck. By day, she works as a photographer, photographing passers-by on bridges, and by night she washes dishes. One day, while taking photographs, she begins to lose sight in one eye. She turns her gaze to the past and the historical depth of the city. The river becomes a stream of memories of an encounter with a group of men fishing things out of the water with magnets. One of them is Shubham. He too has come from afar in search of a new life. Around the table here, I welcome Dani Benejam, the director of photography of this film.
Hello.
Nicolas Bézard and Öykü Sofuoglu, both film critic. And Giuseppe di Salvatore from Film Explorer. So we are happy to have you here and to discuss the film. The word is yours.
Thank you, Jeannette. I will start. Dani, thank you very much to be here with us. And you are the director of photography. We'll certainly have time to discuss about camera work and images, etc. But I think I know that you were quite close to the team and for this project. If you can tell us something about the casting, even if this is a very intimate film and it's a special casting as the main protagonist is if I understood well, is the sister of the filmmaker Victor Diago. So how was the process also with starting from the sister with the other gathering the other people of participating in the film?
Okay, so Julia, who is the main character, is the twin sister of Victor, the director, and she went to Glasgow a few years ago, and she was staying there, working in what you see in the film as a dishwasher in a bar. And she was making photos there. And when Victor went there to visit Julia, he was amazed by Glasgow, which is like a really post-industrial city, and there's like traces of big factories out there that were like very important, but now they don't, and they're like big buildings abandoned there, and he was amazed by that, and he was asking himself, why is Julia here? Because he comes from a really sunny place, such as Barcelona, and in that moment she was living with Shubham, who is now her husband, and Shubham, who is from Goa, is also from a really sunny place. And he was asking about this.
So the real casting actually was the city before, and the fact of
exactly
being there.
Exactly. Yeah. At first it was the city, and then we went there. We started shooting with Julia and Shubham, and like progressively we had like lots of new people participating in the film, such as the Magnet Fishers, Joyce, the Scottish woman who invited Julia to her house, and
wow! So it was really during the shooting.
We were meeting these people while we were shooting, because this was a film that was kind of a hybrid between fiction and documentary. So we had some images that that we thought like could be interesting before we were shooting there. But then we had to really adapt to what life was giving to us.
And since it's a personal film, how did you came into contact with Victor, and how was your implication in the film started? Maybe if it's not a personal question, obviously, but can you talk about that as well?
Yeah. So this wasn't my first project with Victor. We had like a real close friendship, not just professional, and we met like maybe 8 years ago, filming his final work in the college. That it was a kind of short film feature, and yeah. Can you ask me again the question?
And since it's a familiar environment, I was curious about how did you, as a
Yeah.
director of photography, worked with them, because it's a kind of peculiar as a setting to be involved in such a familiar setting with people who are family, and then you, as an exterior eye, bring a different perspective to that, and how it can transform or create a different gaze, an outsider's gaze to the film.
Exactly. So the setup of this film was like to have a really minimal crew. At first, we were shooting just Victor and I. So I was the cinematographer, but I also had to create, like not to create, to propose some scenes and to collaborate in different like things, not just creating images with a camera. So we were constantly talking about what we were shooting and like revisiting the script we were thinking about. So yeah, the collaboration was not like really conventional.
As you said, Glasgow is a complete different world than, for example, Barcelona or Goa in terms of color, of lighting, of texture. How do you approach this special place, this special city? And can you tell us how you approach the location scouting and the preparatory work before to shoot?
So this film was shoot between like 2.5 years, like not all the time. So we were going there by blocks, and the first time I went there was in December. So it was really cold, and the atmosphere was amazing. Was like full of mist. It was always raining. Like people was covered by like big jackets, and like it was so hard to be out there, really hard. And I thought, wow, this kind of blues and this texture, like this ghostly texture that you can see there, is something I want to achieve in this movie. I don't want to lose this. So the next journeys we were doing there, which, for example, they were in not in winter. It was springtime. I had also to try to recreate that feeling. So all the film has like this kind of emotion.
I would say this oniric dimension, or it's very present from the very beginning with the first scene. It's of course a story in the dark. We don't see the really good the faces of the people, etc., etc. But then the film grows more and more documentary. So I was probably also in the editing process. I don't know if you participated or you know about, a bit about it. The balance between this atmospheric that you were speaking now about and
The
this
real
documentary that is very rough in a sense, because when we meet the fisherman, the magnet fisherman, so it's really no very so natural light.
no intervention.
Yeah, no intervention. Yeah.
Yeah. yeah, I wasn't participating in the editing process. Victor is also working as a editor, um, and yeah, I didn't want to be in that process too, because I had like I had worked a lot for that, and I thought that wasn't my position in this project. Um, but yeah, the film was changing a lot in the editing process. We had an idea of what we wanted to achieve, but scenes were like were in like different order than we first thought. Um, and this progression that you're saying, that we're starting like more as a fiction film and then going to a documentary film, was something I saw in my second screening visionator. But yeah, we were always filming lots of documentary stuff while we were filming. Like probably the 80% was just to be there to meet someone, to start like talking with him, um, to convince that person to participate in the project, and at the end uh, we had to sacrifice lots of scenes. But yeah, the 80% was documentary.
There's an interesting articulation between the archival material that Victor appropriates and the actual images that you guys shot. And I was curious about that was there in the beginning while you were shooting, while you were making the film, or did Victor decided to add them after while he was editing? So did you took those images into consideration while you're building up your image world within the film, or yeah?
So it was something that was there, because Victor loves to work with archive, and he's always like watching archive stuff, and this city had lots of like opportunities to work well with archive, because I was saying that Glasgow has these traces of the post-industrial moment. So it's like there's like a kind of fragility between the past and the present. So this is working really good with archive.
Um, the film doesn't leave a feeling of versatility, despite its composite nature. It's it is very harmonious, you know. It visually translates the principle of fluidity that exists in sound and in editing.
The principle.
The principle of fluidity.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to know, how did you work with the filmmaker to achieve this result about this question of fluidity?
Can you give me a synonym of
fluidity?
It's like a rhythm, or maybe it's more fluid. It just
we don't feel the difference, a big difference between, for example, the archives, the film camera shots, the digital shots. Everything seems to be blurred
integrated
in the same movie, you know.
Organic.
Yeah.
It's very organic. Yeah.
Mm,
Thank you.
no. So yeah, I think that every image has like a kind of ghostly atmosphere, which makes everything like to be more integrated. And also with the color grading we were doing with Mariano Alard, who is like a genius color grader. She was also helping with us, helping the images comes into into the same atmosphere.
And did you work with any visual reference in mind, like photography, paintings, other films?
Yeah, we work with some painting references, and but at the end, like everything was changing, and we were talking that in the documentary style you can't make a lot of intervention. So we had some ideas, but then we had to adapt to what was happening.
Mhm.
The main protagonist, Juliet, is a photographer and is gradually losing her sight, so she's getting blind or has some disease anyway with the seeing. Were you not scared when Victor probably proposed to you to have a film with these two elements, thematizing actually images? So to approach, so how was the reflection from your side, for example, to film someone that take pictures or to film the perspective of someone that has trouble with the view? So how was your approach with this? How were your discussion?
So this disease, which is sclerosis multiple, would be like the worst thing it could happen to me. Like to lose the vision, it's like something that well would be the worst for me. So we were thinking a lot about this and how was Julia feeling about this. She so when you lose the vision, everything is disappearing in a way. So you think that you are disappearing, and that was like one of the things we were thinking about to and trying to transmit in this film, like the sensation of being somewhere and like you will disappear and no one is gonna remember you. You're nowhere.
At the same time, you feel the urgency of the images because the images are going away. So there is a stronger sensibility probably for images. I don't know if this was also a reflection because we feel the fragility and we feel also how important is an image. For example, even when we see our sight is blurred, and then you see other people looking at her and they're
Yeah,
there.
she's trying to fight with this disease and trying to survive, but it's really hard. But yeah, now she has recovered the vision of this eye. Just to let you know about this.
There's an interesting scene that really stuck me, and I was curious about how did you guys shoot it, because it's the scene where you're in I think it's on the bridge and she's taking people's pictures, and we never see frontally the people in the frame. That there's always a different angle from which you approach them, as if you don't try to imitate from the Julia's camera's POV, but there's always a slight difference between your camera's angle, the film's camera's angles, and the fictional camera's angle. So I was curious about that scene in particular, and how did you approach that kind of differences between perspectives? And was Julia also really taking pictures of those people at that moment, or was it just like a imitating it?
No, she was taking pictures of the people, and she was doing what she was used to do. So it was really natural for her to do that. And yeah, so we had two different approaches to the bridges scenes. The first one when she is when she can see with both eyes. We were close to people, and yeah, we weren't like doing a POV like in exactly in the same spot as her, but we were close to her. And then when she's losing the vision of one eye, then what we did was like to be far away from the people using a telephoto lens and like playing with the blur and with this these aggressive camera movements that don't let you see everything like as you would want.
Something that I really liked in this film, but of course you can probably say to us something indirectly, is the sound and the work with the sound. So I don't ask you now about the editing because you are not probably in. But I was built. It was after the shooting. It was during the shooting because I have the impression that it's a sort of architrave, And there is also, for me, the feeling of a certain distance of images in comparison with sounds. And yeah, I was the work. I don't know if you know, if you work together with him, Ivan Gabano.
So you're referring just to the sound, or plus the music?
Yeah, of course, also the music, because it's introduced in a very specific moment, and it's not just an atmospheric thing. It's really a protagonist in a sense, but just the conception of sound in general, and how it creates probably this fluidity, this organicity.
Yeah.
And give the possibility to the images, that was my impression at least, to be more fragmented or more to show probably this fragility.
Yeah, you're right. Victor, when he's editing, is always like he's imagining a lot how the image is gonna sound. And regards to the film shoot process, which is what I can answer, we were always listening to theremin songs, this instrument that you can hear in the film, and also Indian songs from Shabam, and they were helping us to like kind of to know if we were like in the right path or we weren't in the right path. Yeah, they were like we were playing these songs all the time. Yeah.
The music was really an accompaniment during the shooting and for the conception of the images. Very interesting.
And since you were talking about flow, changes, transformation while you were working on the project, I'm curious, how is your actual working process as a director of photography, and how this film in particular impacted of your vision of your profession? Like, what did it bring to you? What did you learn from this film as a DOP?
So there was a moment when the last blog I did for this film, I just like go there, and before that I was filming a feature film with a big crew, and it was completely different, but in a real positive way, because we were at the moment we were like Victor, the sound recorder, and me in the team, so we could work really fast, and everything that was happening out there was a possibility, like to film. And it's the other way around in a conventional film, where you're make like creating a lot of new stuff. It's like so hard to do, and you're not wasting, but you're investing a lot of time to create the things that aren't there. And I thought that this is from that moment, it's something that I'm always saying to new directors I'm working with, that there's a lot of production value in real life. And for example, when we were filming in Joy's house, that is full of boxes, this would be like really hard for an art department to recreate. Like maybe 1 or 2 days of work to have the house like that, but it was like this, and we were like just taking the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we had the possibility really to discover through your perspective, so image perspective, like a sort of double level of Julia perspective. So yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for being our guests at the Fabrica Live podcast from Film Explorer about the film Downriver, a Tiger from Victor Diago. The film is running right now in Stadtkino, and it will be screened again on Sunday 5:30. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to podcast series Fabrica.
Fabrica.
Stay tuned on Film Explorer.